And just like that, the next episode has begun. Welcome back to Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. I am your host, MegaShadowFist. I suck at video games, I suck at commentary. And when we last left off, what were we doing, ladies and gentlemen? We were about to cross-examine Apollo. Actually, before we get into that though, there's a comment that I wanted to respond to. Like, this is something that I asked a long time ago, but I never responded to it. Kind of somewhat irrelevant to the thing, but I remember asking you guys what if you guys could be like a lawyer or a prosecutor, like what would, like if you're a prosecutor, what would your motif be? And I remember Joe Milton said he'd have like a technology based motif, like he'd have like a scouter like Dragon Ball Z or something. I'm actually curious, if I were to be a lawyer or prosecutor, well, first of all, which would I be? And if I were, what would my motif be, you know? What would it be? You know, like, you know, black hole with his sword, go out with his coffee, Lady von Chimer and her whip. I suspected Miss Sykes of the murder of Clay Terran. What first made you suspicious of Miss Sykes? It all started when Miss Sykes and I were investigating the crime scene. When she saw the weapon that killed Mr. Terran, my bracelet reacted. She said she'd never seen the knife before, but my bracelet told me otherwise. And then, every time after that, my bracelet would react when she talked about the case. Poor Apollo must have been beside himself during that investigation. I didn't know what to do or think. I couldn't even sleep. In that condition, I knew I wouldn't be any good in court, so I decided to wear an eye patch so I wouldn't be able to perceive any of her tells. Oh! So that's why he wore the eye patch. So that's why Apollo's acting so strangely. But the reason Miss Sykes unconsciously reacted to the knife that way is because she stabbed her mother's murderer with one identical to it 7 years ago.
Objection!
But that knife was also the murder weapon that was used to kill Clay Terran. My bracelet could have also reacted to her because she knew she was his killer too. I guess he has a point. But my bracelet wasn't the only reason I became suspicious of her. My growing suspicions were confirmed when discriminating evidence presented itself. Press? That's the lighter that was found in the Space Museum with her fingerprints on it, right? But even if it seems decisive, there must be other facts we don't know about yet. If that's so, go ahead and prove it then. Look, honestly, I don't want to believe it's true either. But Miss Sykes was the only one who was in the Space Museum at the time of the murder. But Mr. Justice, Miss Sykes had absolutely no motive to kill Mr. Terran.
Objection!
7 years ago, Miss Sykes lived at the Cosmos Space Center. It wouldn't be strange if she had some kind of connection to him. Besides, people sometimes kill for motives we can't even imagine. I know you've seen plenty of cases like that in your own career, Mr. Wright. I still can't believe this. How can you actually suspect Athena, Apollo? In addition, she's the only one who could have utilized the launchpad switch to escape.
Hold it!
Isn't it possible that somebody else used that same escape route? I'm afraid not, Mr. Wright. Why not? Recall there's a security camera in boarding lounge 1 aimed at the launchpad door. It's the camera that captured Mr. Terran and Mr. Starbuck. But there's also another security camera in boarding lounge 2. It recorded Mr. Terran's killer, or rather, Miss Sykes coming out of the Space Museum. A camera in boarding lounge 2? First I've heard of it, but it makes sense. Athena said she snuck into the Space Museum the night before the incident, and then was overcome and passed out until around noon the next day. I was out until about noon of the next day! I didn't even know about the explosions! When I woke up, nobody was around, so I just went out into the boarding lounge too. That must have been the camera captured her, and that's what made Apollo suspect her even more. But wait a minute. In that case, it most likely recorded the true culprit as well.
Objection!
That's a negative on that one too, Mr. Wright. In the footage taken after the incident, Miss Sykes is the only one who appears. What? Why? Order! Order in the court! That can't be, but if it is, then it is incredibly incriminating. Wasn't it you who proved it in the previous trial that the way the true culprit escaped was via the Space Museum after the pods had been switched? A fact you previously proved turned on its ear, leaving your client high and dry. Excuse me, I must say, that is Vintage Phoenix Wright. Shut up, you! You know what? I never liked your spinach puffs. Yeah, I went there. That is why I wish to indict Miss Cykes on the charge of murder.
Hold it!
Believing in your client to the end is a basic principle of a good defense. Shouldn't you extend that to that same principle to your own coworker? You're probably right. Maybe I'm not even fit to be a lawyer. However, I don't care. This case is special to me. Oops. Clay was my friend. And that's why I just have to know the truth. Apollo suspected his trusted coworker for killing his friend. To dispel his doubts, he investigated on his own, but that only led to more doubts. Apollo must have been really struggling with this. Well, Apollo may have doubts, but... I'll say it again. Athena Cykes isn't the murderer. Then I have only one thing to say. Prove it? Evidence is everything in court. Well, Mr. Wright, think you have the concrete proof to knock down my arguments? Your arguments have been very clear, Mr. Justice, and your facts appear to be indisputable. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you think of my theory? It's a load of hogwash is what it is, Mr. Justice, and you call yourself my cousin, too. I'm disappointed in you. It looks like not even you can deny it. Miss Cykes was the only one who used the only possible escape route. Under these circumstances, there can be no other suspect but the defendant. Unless... you think there was an alternative escape route. Is that what you think, Mr. Wright? Is that what you think, Mr. Wright? Is that what you think, Phoenix? Was there an alternative escape route? Of course there was! Yes, of course there must have been. Just don't ask me what. You're just bluffing again, aren't you? Me? Bluff? No way! He knows me too well. It's fine, Mr. Wright. Even a bluff would suit me just fine. Is that Athena, or I don't know? As long as you can clear up this doubt inside me. Are you fine? Wait, so is that what this is all about? I want to believe in Athena. I really do. But what is faith without doubt? That's why I need to question her guilt. So that once the truth finally comes out, I can really fully trust her. So that you can really trust me? It seems your junior partner has just showed us what trials are truly all about. I believe you're right. We prosecutors painstakingly question every detail in pursuit of the defendant, while we lawyers believe in and defend our clients to the end. When both sides go out against each other, that's when we discover the truth. Precisely, and when the battle is over, we will understand the true meaning of trust. That is exactly what trials are about. Wouldn't you agree? Yes, I couldn't ignore the seed of doubt that was growing inside me, so I decided I need to face it head on. Apply directly to the forehead. No matter what the truth is that's waiting ahead, I won't be afraid. That's so like Apollo, always uber earnest about things like this. Mr. Justice, I vow to dispel every last bit of doubt in your heart. Good, because I want to believe in Miss Cykes again. You're really hoping there was an alternative route, aren't you, Apollo? But if I use the process of elimination, there really aren't that many possibilities. Director Cosmos is at the southern exit, leaving only the control room and the corridor to the Space Museum. Oh yeah, I forgot we're talking about, like, I was still thinking in my head that we were still on the previous one. Which door could the culprit have escaped through? Come on, Mr. Wright, where do you think the culprit escaped to? Okay. So, okay, so we're trying. Okay, so like. Okay, so Arrogance have been very clear. So that's the only one who used the only possible escape route. Under the assumption there can be no other place but the defendant. There's an alternative escape route. Is what you think, Phoenix? Was the alternative escape route, of course. I was bluffing again. Okay, so we're trying to say it wasn't the Space Museum corridor, right? Like it was some other thing, and it couldn't have been here. There's a control room, but we can't say it's that, right? I mean, I don't know, man. Here? There's a whatchamacallit here. The vent. But I'm not quite sure if they could have fit in there. Sure! There. I doubt anybody could have escaped that way. But can you really say with certainty that it isn't possible? Yes, I believe I can. I guess you're right. What are you doing? This is serious, Mr. Wright. Please be serious, Mr. Wright. Or I'll be serious for you. You're really hoping there was an alternative route, aren't you, Apollo? But if I use the process of elimination, there really aren't that many possibilities. Director Cosmos is at the southern exit, leaving only the control room and the corridor to the Space Museum. Which door could the culprit have escaped through? Wait, wasn't, like, didn't he say that they couldn't have because, like, that was bad or something? I was only half paying attention. Okay, they really only could have escaped to the corridor to the Space Museum. All they had to do was use the unconscious Mr. Starbucks Prince to get through the door. Objection! It appears that all you're trying to establish is Miss Sykes' guilt. If the culprit used that route, the only exit would have been into the boarding lounge too. The logical conclusion of your argument is that the killer is none other than the defendant. I knew it. That's the only way it could be, huh? If the culprit escaped into the corridor that leads to the Space Museum, then I guess it's true. The only exit would have been into the boarding lounge too. But Miss Sykes was the only person captured by the boarding lounge 2 security camera. I investigated the crime scene thoroughly. But the only place the culprit could have escaped to was the Space Museum corridor. There weren't any other secret corridors or anything. So that leaves us with no other conclusion to draw but that Athena Cykes was the culprit. What could the answer be? Was there really no other escape route? But, hold on a second. What if... Where did those mysterious leaves we saw in the corridor come from? What if they are a clue to the culprit's real escape route? I think it is possible that the culprit escaped into the Space Museum, but then came out using a router other than into boarding lounge 2. Oh! Oh no! He said that out loud. That was not blue. Oh. Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum were switched after the bombing, meaning the Space Museum corridor was moving along the rail at the time, which is exactly when an alternative escape route opened up for a culprit. Are you kidding me? Judging by the intense look in your eyes, I take it you're serious. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Do tell. Where could the culprit have gone from the museum corridor besides boarding lounge 2? Jago sa robakan robaskarabanyatos. Se skarabakan robanyatsont. So krabanchantien sol kramiant. Okay, so where did the mysterious leads he saw in the corridor come from? What if there is a clue to the culprit's real escape route? I think it is possible the culprit escaped into the Space Museum, but then came out using a route other than into boarding Launch 2. Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum were switched after the bombing, meaning the Space Museum corridor was moving along the rail at the time, which is exactly an alternative escape route open up for our culprit. I mean, the only other door is the control room, but like it doesn't work like that. There's no bleh. What are you saying? What? I'm confused. Wait, what? Huh? Man, I'm stupid. Like, the first recording session I was doing so good, and now I've just gone to, like, dumb Mega again. The Space Museum corridor is moving on the rail at the time, which is exactly when the alternative escape route opened up for our culprit. Very well, then, Mr. Wright, where could the culprit have gone from the museum corridor besides boarding lounge 2? Like, those are the only doors. He couldn't have gone to the control room. Boarding lounge 1! Yeah, I don't frickin' know. This isn't making any sense to me. Okay, I'm gonna do this in such a way that I can maybe, like, hit both. It can't be the control room, because there's no door there, right? That's what I'm thinking. Moving along the rails. Let's just put it here.
Take that!
We found something odd while investigating the museum corridor this afternoon. Namely, a few dead leaves on the floor. Considering where dead leaves come from, they point us exactly where the culprit escaped to. Yes, I remember seeing some leaves myself. Ah! Do you mean? Yep, while the Space Museum was in motion, just beyond the corridor safety door was an alternative place that the culprit could use to escape. In other words, the culprit's real escape route was the area outside the Space Center. You're freaking insane!
Objection!
But you knew that already. Do you know how impossible that would be? That corridor is level with the 3rd floor. Even if the culprit tried to leap to the outside wall of the Space Center building, they would fall to their death. Unless they were a robot! That's stupid. That was a joke. Ordinarily, yes. But after the bombing incident, the culprit could make use of a certain item. And what item was it exactly, Mr. Wright? Alright, this is what the culprit used to leap to the outside wall to the main building. This is Carmen Crunch. I don't know, man. This doesn't make any sense to me. I'm stupid. Nah!
Take that!
Why don't you demonstrate how it could have been done with that, Mr. Wright? What? You're saying that the culprit used that to escape, are you not? Then why don't you show us and use that item yourself to leap to a 3rd floor wall? I was thinking, like, maybe they're gonna have us point to an individual section, and I don't know. Well, I suggest a less reckless answer next time, Mr. Wright. By the way, why don't you try one more time? Alright, this is what the culprit used to leap to the outside wall of the main building. Awkward pause, see you guys in the next episode.